very good evening to you and welcome to CoreTV News and this hour. I am Nena Nyama. The management of French automakers Peugeot Citroën is seeking a partnership of the Nigerian authorities for the production of affordable cars. The executive vice president of the company, Jean-Christophe Quimad, disclosed this journalist at the State House after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. He spoke after the president had inspected the vehicles the firm brought to the presidential villa. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar wants security agencies to step up the intelligence gathering initiatives as well as establish listening posts to track and nip murderous plot of the insurgents in the board. He was speaking in reaction to the attacks in Yola, Adamawa State and Kano on Tuesday. The former vice president said in a statement in Abuja that the Boko Haram terrorists are increasingly desperate now that they have lost one captured territory after another, as well as a massive attack on their hideout in Sambisa Forest. According to the former vice president, such methods of targeting defenseless people would not have the terrorists achieve their ambition to establish a reign of terror. The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arasi, has deployed 3 commissioners to assist Deputy Inspector Generals of Police in charge of operations, Sotoye Wakanma, in overseeing Saturday's governorship elections in Kogi State. He has also temporarily posted the Commissioner of Police in the state, Emmanuel Ojukwu, to the force headquarters. This, according to police spokesperson Olabisi Kolawole, are part of measures to ensure proper coordination of security for a hitch-free election. The 3 police commissioners posted to the state are Isaac A.K., Peter Ogunyanwo and Sam Akokalo, and they would have to work with 3 assistant commissioners who will supervise security arrangements in each senatorial district. Also, 4,969 personnel of the police mobile force, drawn from different squadrons across the country, are to complement the 11,000 conventional police operators and other security agents on ground. In addition, the police plan to enforce a partial restriction of vehicular movement within and along boundaries of the state from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday. Senate President Bukola Saraki has inaugurated the first 7 of the recently constituted standing committees of the Upper Legislative Chamber. The committees include Committee on Appropriation, Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Services, Finance, INEC, National Security and Intelligence, Communications and ICT, as well as Public Accounts. Senator Saraki used the opportunity to charge the leaders and members of the committees to uphold the highest ethical standard in discharging their duties. He also warned members of the committee that sanctions will be meted out to those found culpable.
Regular attendance to meetings cannot be overemphasized. The leadership of all Senate committees must take care to run an inclusive structure and avoid a situation where the impression is made that the affairs of the committee has become a one-man or two-man show. This Senate will not tolerate this. This is not in line with our legislative agenda. This is not in line with the spirit of the 8th Senate. And I want to make it clear that we must work and depart from this. The 8th Senate expects that committees will treat all their bills and reports referred to expeditiously, especially those related to our legislative agenda. The same applies to all our oversight reports.
Today, for example, the Senate President, towards the end of the session, I think at the beginning, read the letter conveying from His Excellency the President the 2015 Supplementary Appropriation Bill. And in order to give this bill accelerated consideration, the 2 relevant committees most relevant in handling this supplementary appropriation bill are among the first 7 that are going to be inaugurated. These committees are the Appropriations Committee and the Finance Committee. This is to ensure that we give accelerated consideration to Mr. President's supplementary bill.
Meanwhile, the Senate has directed the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, to review the period of validity of its result to 3 years. Resolution is the fallout of a motion raised by the senator representing Gombe South, Joshua Lidani, on the new admission policy of the Tertiary Examination Board. Those in support of the motion argue that an extension will reduce pressure on parents as well as JAMB, which has been saddled with the responsibility of conducting entry-level examinations for all tertiary institutions. The motion was later referred to the Senate Committee on Education. Senator Oluremi Tinubu coached a mild stay on Wednesday when she sought to second the motion on the World Bank loan from the seat meant for Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. This angered senators representing the People's Democratic Party, who insisted on her doing so from her seat. Her excuse was that her microphone was not functional. She left for her seat to second the motion but soon returned to Ekweremadu's seat.
Point of order. Point of order. Which kind of person be this? Are you a leader? You are there.
It's not working. It means I can't use this. Okay, thank you very much. Can I do it from there? Can I do it from here? This one.
Address the chairs. You are protected, Senator Tinubu. Go ahead. It's your passion for this report. That's why I felt it to be good for you to second the motion.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second that the motion of the report of the ad hoc committee on local and foreign debts, approval of Lagos State Development Policy Operation 2, DPO2, loan of US $200 million to be approved by the Senate. Thank you.
The federal government is to launch a national campaign on reorientation. This, according to Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is to ensure that Nigerians embrace the spirit of change, which he says is manifesting in the country. He said this on Wednesday in Abuja when Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, paid him a courtesy visit.
Elaborate efforts to launch a nationwide campaign, a huge campaign on national orientation. A campaign that will make it possible for Nigerians to see that paradigm shift. Because what we need to succeed in this country is that we must stop doing things the way we do it. You do not do things the same way and expect a different result. We are resolved with the Boy administration as that change will come. We are going to work aggressively with the ministry, we work with the bureaucracy, because in the bureaucracy you have one of the best minds.
Today, by the grace of God, we have an experienced information manager, a dogged fighter, a dedicated nationalist, and a person committed to the advancement of the interest of Nigeria as your minister. So I came to greet my brother and congratulate you for perhaps getting one of the best ministers we have ever had.
A civil society organization, Social Action, has raised alarm on Nigeria's public debt, which it says has risen to 12.12 trillion naira as of June 30, 2015. The national coordinator of the group, Vivian Belowe, revealed this at a forum in Abuja. She however noted that increased rates of borrowing among government at all levels had not significantly impacted infrastructure development in the country. She also claimed the money from loans have been stolen or mismanaged in the same way that all revenues have been misappropriated by government officials.
We have a situation whereby our collective resources are being channeled out to agents, to foreign governments and foreign bodies and foreign agents to the detriment of we Nigerians. And so we want to take back our resources, monies that have been that are being used as to service debt servicing, loan servicing. These monies have compromised our development. These monies have compromised our lives as Nigerians. These monies have compromised our health. As I speak to you today, over 30% of the budget is being used to service debt. And this is, you can agree with me that this is a terrible situation.
Getting it right means sticking to the provisions of the law. And the Fiscal Responsibility Act is clear. It says you can only borrow for human for human development or for capital projects. You cannot borrow for recurrent expenditure to pay salaries and overheads. You need to do a cost-benefit analysis, borrow in a sustainable manner, make sure you borrow, take loans that have long amortization period, and they should be on concessional terms. Once you get this right, and of course you need to have legislative approval, and borrow for projects that can generate economic growth, to regenerate the economy so that in future you are able to pay, even if it is to train the manpower, the human beings in society that will help us grow.
Away from that, the Nigeria police has once again emphasized the roadblocks are banned in the country. The Nigerians should report any form of extortion from corrupt police personnel, while also emphasizing the bill is freeing all of its stations across the country. CSP Abayomi Shogule, officer in charge of the newly introduced Complaint Response Unit of the police, says it is a new dawn under the leadership of IGP Solomon Arase. He made his submissions on Wednesday when he featured as guest on a flagship news and current affairs program called Digest.
Yes, roadblocks are banned. The ban on roadblocks are still in force. But what we are now encouraging is stop and search points. Stop and search points and visibility policing. And you are going to see police officers flagging a vehicle down to carry out a search on the vehicle or on the persons in the vehicle. Those are allowed, and those are the only things they are going to be doing. The moment it turns to requesting for money, then that is outside the responsibility. You know, in the past, yes, we had it clearly written in police stations, bail is free. But if something to the contrary happens, who will you report to? Probably nobody. But the game changer here, and the difference is this CRU and the information the different platform provided. So I think I will encourage members of the public to lay their complaints, and we'll definitely look into it. These are the numbers, and we have 0805 700 001 and 0805 700 002. Those two numbers are strictly for phone calls. We are not going to take text messages on those ones. Then the one for text messaging and WhatsApp is 0805 700 0003. Then we also have a Twitter handle, which is at policeng_CRU. Then there's also a Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/npfcomplaint. Facebook.com/npfcomplaint.
We'll take a break now, return with more stories. Just stay with us.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
They talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Glad to have you back. You're still watching CoreTV News and this hour. For more of our news stories, join us on the social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV Live Space News. The Peace and Reconciliatory Committee in the Plateau State House of Assembly has blamed stakeholders and those it described as war merchants in the state for the prolonged communal crisis that the state has suffered for over 14 years. Our Plateau State correspondent has details of the story.
The Ad hoc Peace and Reconciliation Committee that was set up over 5 months ago to look into the communal crisis which has given Plateau State an unpleasant and undesirable image in the nation for over 14 years alleges an undertone influence from their community leaders.
Unwillingness of parties to commit to peace path. That what Bureau, Hausa Fulani and other tribal leaders who are representative in the peace process in Plateau State are not willing to resolve their differences. That there is a complete absence of commitment on the part of the traditional rulers, the Arabs, and on the part of the Christian, Muslim, political and youth leaders to end the crisis. Which means, to say political, it means including you and I, Mr. Speaker, that animosity and profit, there are profit derivable by some of them, be it traditional rulers, Arabs, religious leaders. Some people are conflict entrepreneurs within and outside the affected local government areas. This is largely responsible for the breaking down of law of peace pact, an agreement signed by parties in the past.
While submitting the recommendations of the Peace Committee, the Deputy Speaker called for the overhauling of the Special Task Force, which is a military body sent to maintain law and order in the troubled state.
The entire restructuring of the entire STF command, now known as Operation Safe Haven, in all the affected local governments, because some of them have stayed there for long, including the police, Mr. Speaker, and there is issue of mutual distrust among them. So we are not saying that STF should go away, but they should be restructured. Their command in all the affected local government should be restructured. 2, rehabilitation and reintegration. That there is an urgent need for government and its development partners, which we commend the development partners, to rehabilitate and reintegrate all persons affected by the crisis, particularly the internally displaced persons, who are in various camps and houses. Mr. Speaker, who are in various camps and houses.
As part of the recommendations, the leaders of the warring communities have been called upon to ensure total peace within their environment to avoid being held responsible for the casualties.
Former Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, Adewale Omiri, has reacted to the decision of the 5th Assembly led by Kola Oluwawole to quash his impeachment. The 5th Assembly has sometime last week made available to newsmen the letter written to it by Omiri asking the House to reverse his impeachment. Omiri, however, accused the new House of arm twisting, blackmail and breach of trust. He says he was initially billed to head to court but was contacted by the House asking him to write a letter asking for reversal of his impeachment, but that the House of Assembly later turned around not only to make the letter available to newsmen but also to ridicule him by not reversing the impeachment. Omiri fingers the governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, as a mastermind behind the whole issue.
It's not ridiculing me. The Assembly are ridiculing themselves. I just want to put the record straight. It's an insult seeing Olugbemi's picture hanged in that place as the Speaker of the House. So I want that one obliterated. So I'm going ahead to court and I'm going to challenge it.
The time is coming that all the records will be set straight. And the time is very near. And Fayose, sincerely speaking, is going to pay for all this because the long arm of law will catch up with him. And it's going to be a very serious situation there.
Having used all means to drive home their grievances without fruitful results, pensioners in Ekiti State have resorted to fasting and prayers, seeking the face of God over unpaid pensions and gratuities. Speaking at a prayer session in Ado-Ekiti, the pensioners plead to government at all levels to come to their aid. Our correspondent Rashid reports.
That is the situation at the Ado-Ekiti headquarters of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners. The reason for the prayer is about their unpaid gratuity and pensions over the years. The prayer, they say, is better than them carrying placards.
Many of us are more than 70 years of age, more than the Davidian age, and it is only God that can really assist us to touch the mind of those people in power.
That's the language of some people, that they are about to check out people who are 80 and more. And so, before they go, let their pensions, their entitlements be paid.
Explaining hardships faced without pension, these senior citizens plead to government at all levels to see to their plight.
Our children who should be feeding us, they have no job. So we are the ones struggling to fill them.
Since September 2010, I have not been paid my monthly pension. It is now 6 years, 11 months since I have received my federal pension. I want Buhari and his government to see to the others, not to me alone, those who have not been paid. We should not be denied of our pension. I retired in September 1986.
While these elders continue to pray, it is hoped that their plea will be heard and hearkened to. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
As the Nigeria Society of Engineers Conference progresses in Akure, the Ondo State capital, the need for the country to develop homegrown technology has come to the forefront. Of particular attention are young inventors who developed intra-city car KX100, an electric car designed for zero vehicle emission, codenamed Dove P1. These young investors say the automobile policy should be extended to accommodate the apply for the development of Nigeria. Our correspondent Rashid reports.
The International Conference Center, otherwise known as the Dome, is one of the eye-catching exhibitions showcased by Nigerian engineers. This, they say, is a sign that local engineers are up to the task in turning the country around for better. But young inventors are not left out in the drive. The Calox 100 is a car designed to cater for intra-city runarounds.
People go from work to home, church, and around, and the cars they don't need a very high performance car to actually do this, because we need to get a car that everybody can have in Nigeria, and this car serves that purpose. And with a speed limit of 80 kilometers per hour, it's very good to drive around the city. The tank is 10 liters, which means with 10 liters you can use this car for 2 weeks within the state. That is how efficient it is when it comes to fuel consumption. And when it comes to maintenance, it is very, very easy to maintain. because it's not as complex as most of the cars we have out there. It's just a simple mechanism that works this automobile.
And as the world preaches climate-friendly inventions, these students of University of Lagos may have answer with their Dove P1 invention.
Dove means designed for zero vehicle emissions. So that means there's no smoke, there's nothing at all. So it's just purely electric and it's just for the environment to be safer.
These youngsters, however, call for government support.
We are ready to start our company.
I want them to support us so we can, and sponsor us so we can build something better than this.
It is hoped that the aspiration of Nigeria to be technologically independent will be realized sooner than later. Rashid, CoreTV News, Akure.
The Senate has approved the second tranche of the World Bank loan for Lagos State Development Policy Operation. The approval came after the ad hoc committee on local and foreign debt chaired by Senator Kabiru Gaya submitted his report to the Senate. Basia Aye reports that President Muhammadu Buhari formally made a request on November 3rd.
The request for approval of the loan by President Buhari was expected to enjoy overwhelming support when the report was finally brought to the Committee of the Whole. And that was exactly the case when the chairman of the ad hoc committee, Kabiru Gaya, presented the report for consideration. Senate leader Ali Ndume insisted that there was no need to debate the report.
That the committee recommends that the Senate do approve the Lagos State Development Policy Approval 3, Operation 3, that's DPO 3, in the sum of $200 million as requested by Mr. President.
The report is very clear itself. The requirement is also very clear. I would therefore recommend, Mr. President, that you just put the question so that we move ahead with other items on the agenda.
But a couple of senators had a word or two of advice to share even while giving their support. They expressed worry over the rising rate of indebtedness and cautioned against mortgaging the nation's future.
I want to observe that Nigeria is gradually going back to the pre-Obasanjo days, when we found ourselves in highly indebted in various loans. These loans usually come in this type of form: very low interest rate, very long repayment period, at grace of 5 years, so the governor will spend the money, and he will not pay anything. After 5 years, the man succeeding, he will start payment. And I believe if something is not done, if we continue to approve this kind of loan, we approve one for Edo State, we're approving this one, and many others will come. Already we are indebted. When you look at the debt profile of most of the states, they are indebted to the tune of 100 billion naira, 200 billion, 300 billion, 500 billion. When Obasanjo government removed Nigeria out of the debt trap, he got national applause. But we are back to square one now.
I'm not against the loan. I'm not against the loan. But I want to call the attention of the Senate to what I think was things we have not been doing so aptly. Any matter or thing with respect to which it has power to make laws, we have power to investigate such issues, whether the monies are properly used or not. Now, if you use B2 again, anything that we are executing or administering laws enacted by the National Assembly, whatever we approve is part of our lawmaking processes. We have the power to go back to find out, to investigate, so that at the end of the day, we will have Section 88 2B to expose corruption, inefficiency, or waste in the execution or administration of laws within its legislative competence, and the disbursement or administration of funds appropriated by it.
The committees on finance, local and foreign debt should all know these observations on the issue of foreign loans so that we do the proper oversight that is required. Thank you.
With the approval, Lagos State government is left with the third and final tranche of the $600 million World Bank DPO loan. Basia Aye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Standing in the name of distinguished
Members of the banking community have projected that the Nigerian economy will experience a steady growth if Nigerians imbibe the culture of saving in banks and note their homes. This positive projection, they say, will resurface in 2016 despite the looming fuel scarcity, insecurity challenge and the fight against corruption in Nigeria. Our correspondent Sarah Yeko has more in this report.
It was a gathering of entrepreneurs and banking minds where top bank officials rubbed minds on the state of the Nigerian economy, its present situation and what possible solutions can be adopted. To commemorate the anniversary, the West African Bankers Association gave a lecture titled Driving Economic Growth from the Bottom of the Pyramid, Banking the Unbanked.
The unbanked are those people within the economy who still do not have their financial resources within the financial system. People who still keep monies, as it were, under their pillows. People who still keep their savings in some safes and in some locations of their choices outside of the banks, outside of microfinance institutions, outside of primary mortgage institutions. All of those people and groups and entities need to have their monies come into the financial system.
Representing the Central Bank of Nigeria's governor, James Iyari, while delivering his keynote speech, says that Nigeria has to invest more on the educational system for growth to occur.
All of us did our programs here, but now you cannot take your children to universities in Nigeria. You know, it's quite painful.
More so, the president of the Banking Association, Ifeanyi Chukwu Nwade, emphasized more on the importance of adopting a saving culture.
As we move more into a cashless society, they need to realize that you only move cash that's already within the system in the safe manner that the electronic platform actually provides for us. So what it takes is the same aggression, the same, would I say, commitment that we have to marketing high net worth clients. We need to put in the same efforts into these unbanked. These people, these entities that do not yet have their monies, their financial resources in the system, and then encourage them to bring those resources into the system.
According to stakeholders at this forum, with these present challenges facing the Nigerian economy, it is important to embrace the saving culture, particularly in banks, in order to boost the economy. Sarah Ayoku, CoreTV News, Lagos.
CoreTV News and this hour continues shortly after this break. Just stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back on the foreign scene. Senegal says it is considering banning the full-body veil worn by some females in the Muslim-majority country. Proposal by the government in the West African nation comes as Senegal security services questioned at least 6 religious leaders over alleged links to armed groups. Interior Minister Abdoulaye Diallo said a full veil is not a religious affair, adding the need to prevent attacks was behind the proposed veil ban. He, however, urged all Senegalese people to support the president in their sense. The armed group Boko Haram has been active in West Africa for years and has used suicide bombers wearing the veil in the past. South Africa's military says it has dismissed 47 peacekeepers, 7 in the United Nations mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo for violating curfew. South African National Defense Force spokesman Brigadier General Zolani Mabanga said the soldiers' actions compromised the security of all the South African troops deployed in the area. However, there were speculated reports that the soldiers visited a pub frequented by sex workers in Goma, the capital capital of Congo's North Kivu province, though the military said it has no evidence of where the soldiers went. The troops were part of a 1,388-strong South African contingent deployed to the country as part of the United Nations stabilization mission in the Congo MONUSCO that has about 20,000 personnel overseeing the disarmament. And finally, French PM Manuel Valls has warned that France could face chemical or biological attack from terror groups as MPS debates extended the state of emergency after the Paris attacks. Belgian police are meanwhile raiding 6 properties in and around Brussels linked to suspected Paris attackers Bilal Hatfield and Saleh Abdeslam. It remains unclear whether the suspected organizer of the attacks were killed in Wednesday's raid in Paris. And that's it in CoreTV News in this hour. Thank you so very much for watching. I am Nena Nyama. Good evening.